So, welcome everyone to yet another little episode where I'm interviewing today a special gentleman, somebody who's very dear to my heart because he's a very driven, very passionate, very knowledgeable, and I would say very industrious individual. You wouldn't think that accountants can be entrepreneurial, but guess what? This one is an entrepreneur at heart, and he's also a change maker. Two reasons why I love this guy. So welcoming to the stage, no one less than John Tsoulos. Good day, John. How are you going?
Hey, Bram, I'm well. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. You're too kind, too kind.
And it's great to see that you're back on deck because we had a bit of, let's say, a second run on this. Because last week some bug caught you, and for you to cancel out or bail out on an interview, Alan, who's just sitting next door, he said John must be really crook.
Yeah, mate, I wasn't my usual self, let's say. Like it got me on the Monday, and by the time Friday came along, I was a wreck. So, but thank goodness I'm over it and I'm back to normal.
Look, I just want to straight away dive there into an area that a lot of business owners will really know. First of all, just to give us a quick rundown in terms of the business you're on, and then I'd like to go to the area where business owners really got to pay attention to.
Okay, mate, we've really got three businesses. One is our accounting practice, which is Indigo Financial, and the other two businesses are under that Indigo Financial umbrella. So tax and accounting, business advice, all the tax planning that we can help clients with to minimize their tax legally. So that is the core of our business. We then have another business, another side to the business, which is our property advisory arm. So our IFP advisory, and then where we help people create wealth via property. And then the third one is our global business camps event, which is basically we take business people away for a few days and work on their business and work on changing their thought process, their mindset to actually have a business that works for them, not a business that they have to constantly work in.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thanks first of all for clarifying. I think it's important that we go straight to what you've seen. I mean, you've been working in your business for quite a while, assisting other businesses. Where do you see that a lot of business owners, if there's, let's say, the three, four things that you see that a lot of business owners get really stuck on or where they have a lot of difficulties with, what would it be according to you?
One of the key things is that they get consumed by the business. Everyone has to work in their business to an extent. But typically what we see out there is people just focused really working in it. They don't actually sit back and say, okay, without me, what would this business look like? What could I create? What could I develop here? So they get doing the day-to-day stuff like going in, opening up, talking to the customer. Something goes wrong, they're running around fixing it. They're not actually thinking about planning and moving forward and where they want to take this business and succession and all that sort of stuff. That is a key area, right? The other thing that we're seeing a lot of out there is getting their team on board, getting them engaged, getting them educated in the way the business needs to run, having the values, the missions, the visions and all that. People don't make the time to do that. And then what happens is team members come on, they like the place, they work there for a little bit, and then they look to go somewhere else because they're not really getting engaged in that. The other thing that we do see quite a bit of is people struggle with pricing and having the correct pricing. They think if they put their prices up slightly, all their clients, customers, patients will leave. So that's an interesting area to get them thinking about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can fully relate to that one. Okay, so there's a few things that some of the people that will be watching this will be able to relate to, yes or no. What do you see that the businesses that are doing extremely well, what are they doing differently?
They have actually sat back and thought about where they want their business to go and what they want it to look like. So they're actually planning a bit. The other thing that we see that they do quite well is proper sales and communication with their customers. They've got a process that really works. And that was the other thing that I was going to add on to the three that I mentioned, that the businesses that are not performing as well don't have a consistent sales process. They don't communicate constantly with their clients, customers, and patients. They just leave it to chance and hope for the best. So the ones that are getting it right are constantly communicating. They're always finding out what the customer wants and how they can achieve and help them get to where they want to go.
That's great. I love that little segue there because obviously a lot of the people that watching my, videos and
Mm.
interviews and my newsletters and the likes, they're all hungry for growth. They're all growth minded. They
Yeah.
think big. They're bold. They're action takers. And what I do see at times is though that some of these people they sometimes get a little bit stuck in doing a lot of action, but it's not necessarily planned well, which is one of the
Correct.
points you raised.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're too much of the doing and they're not enough sitting back and letting other people do the doing. And so the knife cuts basically two ways, doesn't it? You can have too much of one thing and not enough of the other, or the other way around, too much of the former and not enough of the latter.
And Bram, on that, like if there's a business owner that's doing it, and not delegating,
Mm,
that's another reason why people leave because people want to grow, and if you're the only one doing it, well, then how big can you become or how successful can the business be?
mm.
Uh, and we're all about growth. And we believe that if the business is not growing, it's potentially dying, because you can't stay the same. Everything changes.
I love that. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
very
scary
good
thought.
It's a very good equation because yes, let's just be honest, inflation grows. The way that money gets eroded, it keeps getting bigger and bigger, which is why the
Exactly.
prices keep going up. So you might as well make sure that you outgrow the rate of inflation and the rise of pricing so that you
It-
can
it-
keep getting ahead because otherwise you're going back.
you are, Bram, dramatically. And the other thing is, if you're not growing and developing, you're falling behind because your competitors are always looking at opportunities to do things differently. So, if you're not going to develop, you're not going to grow, you're not going to, change up what you do, don't expect a different outcome. Because I think that's verging on insanity, isn't it? If you're doing the same thing and expect to get a different outcome.
Absolutely. Now, I've got to ask you here, John, at this point in time, because obviously, as we're talking about growth and teams and how to set teams up for success and all of that, I wonder, like, obviously, you're not, the only person in your business. Like, what does your business look like these days, and what sort of role do you fulfill within the team?
That is a really cool question. So basically, there's now 15 of us in the business. And like I said, the core of it is tax and accounting. I haven't actually prepared a tax return probably for about 15 years.
Well
So I can
done.
still do them if I have to. But basically, I've delegated a lot of those responsibilities to the team because I trust the team can do it properly. I've got another accountant that reviews the financials and tax returns, and then I get to have a look at them, and then I talk to the client.
Mhm.
I'm also delegating a lot of that responsibility of talking to the client to other teams so they can develop, which then gives me the ability to actually focus on the other two operations of the business, the property arm and also our business development program, the Global Business Camp, which is really something that I'm passionate about. I love taking business people away for a few days and just working on their mindset and working on their business. We've got an event coming up actually in February. 24th to the 26th of February, which you're speaking at, by the way. And I can't actually wait to see you in action because I think you're a superstar. That to me is something very important, and it's something we don't make a huge amount of money out of, but it's something where we're giving something back and we
Mm.
get people in a room, we get like-minded people in a room, they can work together, and they can have better outcomes. And then all of a sudden I say, I remember that event, that changed my life, which is
Yeah.
so important to me.
Yeah, I love those passion projects. And look, I know how much hard work goes into the promotion and execution of an
Yeah.
event like that magnitude, because this is an event that you haven't been running for this first, second, or third year. Just tell everybody, how long have you been running this event for Global Business Camps?
We've been going for about 30 something events. We started it back in 2002, and we've just constantly evolved it and brought different speakers in to add, to the six secrets that we've developed. And it's obviously begin with the end in mind, where people don't actually think about where they want their business to go, what they want it to look like. So we focus on core values, mission, vision, working on, not in, effective leadership. We then jump into planning for success, which is secret number two. And that's all about hey, if we know where we want to go, where are we at the moment? What do we need to do to get to where we want to go? So strategic planning.
Hmm.
We then look at secret number three, which is growing your business. So it's really important to understand that, there are some secrets in growing a business and there's certain strategies you need to put in place. We then jump into measuring and managing, which is secret four. What you can manage, as people say, because you can go off and have activity, but if you're not measuring the results, what's the point of the activity? And there's a lot of
100%.
people out there that do that. And
Mm.
they'd say, I don't understand why that didn't work. Well, if you were measuring, you could have actually seen what was working, what wasn't working, and you could have tweaked it. And then there's secret five, valuing, and secret six, which is freedom. So we go around the whole spectrum, and within that, we bring specialists in to actually talk about particular areas, which is so important. Everyone in business, I believe, should come along to an event like this, because in business you get insulated, and you're actually, like I said doing before, you're actually doing it,
Mm.
and you're not actually putting your head back and saying, well, hang on, what else is going on out there? What else should I be doing? How else can I add more value to our customers,
Mm.
and therefore grow the business?
I have to say kudos to Tsoulos. Yeah, kudos to Tsoulos. That's obviously a surname. You must
It
be
is.
Greek, by the way, to also be in property.
Mate, I'm Greek, and I love property, and that's another key area that you and I need to chat about, because we've got our property advisory arm, which really helps people whether they've got no properties or 20 properties. It helps them take their portfolio and their life into a different direction. And yeah, being Greek, I love property.
Say no more. But look, I love the fact that you're such a collaborative mind, that you bring in different speakers, first of all, together on stage to add value along that trajectory of the six secrets that you developed there. So I really appreciate that. And the fact that you've been going already since 2002, I think you said earlier that it was about 35 or so different events that you've set up, like
Yep.
global business camp since. And the size, I mean, you've had some serious numbers of people through the doors for that event.
Look, yeah, we've had up to 193 people at the event before. 2 years ago, we had 130. So we get some decent numbers. Thank you. And look, it is a 3-day event, so it is a decent commitment. They get in on the Sunday. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're working, and then they head off Thursday, or stay for the weekend and maybe work on their business for a few more days, or holiday,
Yeah.
whatever they like. But the really neat thing, Bram, is that the event, it's not just come, sit and listen. It's come, sit and listen, work on your business, because it's really a workshop type event. They actually walk away with a lot of IP, like with our Global Business Camp folder, which
Mhm.
it's a step-by-step of the whole 3 days. So, and then they can refer to it whenever they want. So it's a really, really cool program.
That's great. Look, I think at this point in time, some people might think, hey, you know what, that sounds great. And, I'd love to do that. But hang on, 3 days, I'm not sure if I can actually spend that time out of my business. Isn't that the good reason then to just come? That in
Yeah.
itself shows you that you need it, baby.
Oh, mate, you are a guru, because a lot of times when people say to me, I can't afford the time. I can't, oh, hang on, if you can't afford the time, you don't have a business, you've got a job. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or, yeah, I can't take 3 days away. That's impossible. Once again, you've got a job, you haven't got a business. And
Mm.
if you can't not be there for 3 days, this thing doesn't work long term. They've been the key things. I really can't afford the time. I can't get 3 days away from work. You then flip it around and say, well, hang on, are you able to take a holiday? Oh, yeah, I can take a holiday. So if you can take a holiday, you obviously don't value your business enough to spend 3 days with us. So we can improve your business so you can take more holidays.
Absolutely. And by all means, for anyone that would be flying in, just bear in mind, and I'm not the accountant here, John is, but tax deductible expenses here, baby. So obviously the investment in the global business camp itself, your flights, your accommodation, even some
Yep.
of your fares, with taxis and Ubers and whatever, your
Yep.
meals, it's all basically part of the same thing. We do this all the time. And we always see it as a growth opportunity for the business that the business has to pay for.
Correct. Yeah, it's Bram, as you said, it's all tax deductible. And for the people that need continuing professional development, there's 21 and a half hours of of hard content. So kill two birds with one stone. So, and in covering that, so basically there's morning tea, after lunch, afternoon tea, cocktail event on night one. And then day two's got, once again, breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, and a big gala dinner. And then day three's got the morning tea, lunch, and afternoon tea. And obviously there's breakfast if you're staying at the hotel. So pretty much the hotel and what we put on covers the majority of their outlay.
I'm really excited about this. And just for people to understand, like an event like this, it's not just the learning, it's not just the application, it's not just getting clear in their own head in terms of where things are at and where we could go, but it's also about the networking. Who else will be in the room? Who else can people expect to sit next to them and who they can build relationships with?
Yeah, awesome question, Bram. So we've got all different types of injuries, from trucking companies to engineers to accountants to financial planners. There's lawyers, there's retail stores, there's gardening and maintenance businesses. It is a broad spectrum. So the camp applies to any business as long as you're looking to improve your business, which we all are. So any business person should be looking at coming along. The other thing is you should be bringing your key team with you. So I'll give you an example. Last year we had, 2022, when we ran the last event, we had a trucking company attend. CEO and the wife, they both work in the business. This year they're coming back with 5 of their team. So it's really, they loved it. They got a lot out of it. It's now to reinforce and push it down and make sure that the people in the key spots get to understand. We've had people come along 6 or 7 times. Some people say, gee, they're slow learners. My point is, no, they're not slow learners. They're actually picking up different things as they go and reinforcing the message. So that's really, really important. In accounting, for example, you finish your degree, you then become a chartered accountant or a CPA, and then the learning potentially stops. What we suggest is constant education, constant reinforcing, and that's why the business camp is great for anyone in business, because in retail, unless you're looking for a specific retail training session, there's nothing out there that I know of that clients of ours, like we've got people coming from Alice Springs, Broken Hill. We've got people coming from Sydney, which is a bit more accessible. There's people coming from all over the country. We've got people coming out of WA, which is a massive trip.
That's so great. Well done, mate. So seriously, just first of all, for persisting as long as you have, doing it so often, clearly it shows that your heart is in this thing, that you're really driven by purpose and passion, which again, I commend you for it. And just one thing that really got me a bit curious is that you mentioned that there's several other accountants and financial planners in the room as well. How does that work? Because you could be very easily trapped in a mindset of, hang on, I'm not going to be sharing my best stuff with people that do the same type of work as we do. You have a very different mindset of that. So how is it that accountants, you actually even encourage them to bring their clients to the table?
Yeah, great point. So there'll be basically about 10, 11 forward-thinking accounting firms at this event, and they will all have some clients there. I have become more than associates with the group. I've become friends with them, and I like the way they operate because they've got the same mindset as me, and it's something that I can give back, and I want them to be the hero. So we've currently got about 25 of our clients booked in, and I'll have some team members there working with our clients. And we've never ever taken a client from another accountant that's been at the event. Now, if someone comes along and hasn't come with their accountant, we'll actually buddy them up with our team. And typically what happens is the people that come along get so much out of the event, they then organise to catch up with us afterwards. It's no obligation, doesn't cost them anything. We have a chat, and sometimes they come over, sometimes they stay where they are, which is not a problem at all. But if their accountant's there, it's a no-go zone.
Great. Just out of curiosity now, John. So look, my database is an international database. If somebody were to be in Singapore or Malaysia or US, Europe, Qatar, Dubai, wherever they are, even Africa somewhere, and they'd say, hey, I actually like this. To what extent would the 6 secrets and all the value that the keynote speakers will be bringing to the table add value to an international audience potentially?
To me, a business is a business is a business. You might be a hardware store in the States, or you might be a dentist in Australia, or you could be in retail in Africa. The concepts we talk about apply to every business. Now, we had a few years ago, we had a travel agent come along, and their accountant approached me on day one and said, I don't think Hillary's going to get much out of this. I said, well, that's fine. If she gets nothing out of it, I'm happy to give her her money back. I've got a money back guarantee. If you come along and you get all the information and you don't implement it and nothing works, I don't expect you to pay. I said, let her sit the event. She's here. She seems to be enjoying it, and let's see how she goes. The really, really neat thing out of that is by the end of day 3, she's pulled me up and she goes, I've been to a lot of Harvey World Travel conferences. I was a bit skeptical coming to this, but my accountant brought me along and she goes, this is the best thing I've ever done. I said, Hillary, thank you. Can I get a testimonial? She's actually given us a testimonial. She then said, I'm going to change my business from travel agent to dream maker, which I thought was really cool. The next icing on the cake was when we had Ian Healy as a keynote speaker there, the ex-Australian wicketkeeper. So Ian Healy, for example, runs car washes in Queensland, and his accountant brought him along. And he loved the event. We then got him back to actually talk as one of the keynote speakers. And he was there at the same event with Hillary. Hillary approached Ian and said, Ian, I want to run a special cruise, 50 of my guests, special guests. I want you to be the guest. And I think I could fill the ship. They went off and did that. And she ended up making $500,000 out of that event. So she said,
there you go. Money paid back already.
Exactly. Like 100 times over. So it was unbelievable. And they're the stories where, one year we had someone come along and it was up at Sunshine Coast and he really couldn't afford to come. And I actually shed a tear. So, and this is why I do it. When you ask me, why do you do what you do? This is why I do this. He comes along, I get introduced to him. He doesn't tell me the story. 2 years later, he comes back and he's got his wife and his kids there. And he pulls me up and says, this is my second event. You might not remember me. I said, look, I remember your face, but I don't remember you. But yeah, we're chatting away. And he said, the first year I came, I couldn't afford to come. And I paid the event off over a few months. I actually slept in my caravan. And I said, what? He said, I slept in my caravan because I couldn't afford to be here. Now, 2 years down the track, I've implemented what you were talking about. The business has gone a lot better. I've now come with my family and my kids, and we're going to spend a few days here, and we're staying in the hotel. So I thought, wow. So I started crying pretty much. It was really cool. Yeah. And that's why I do it.
It gives fulfillment when you get testimonials like that. And kudos for that guy for actually making the investment, even not knowing how he would actually do it over a longer period of time, just because he was serious instead of curious. I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Spot on, mate. Spot on.
Yeah. So look, in life, we got to be honest. There's a lot of people that want to be business owners and entrepreneurs and creators and all of that and influencers. And then there's the people that just keep at it long enough and keep going in the face of difficulties, challenges, obstacles, and all of that, COVIDs and this and whatever later. You definitely show that you have been on that path already for a long time, John. I'm really looking forward to presenting alongside you at the event. And I encourage everyone to come along for 3 days of immersive transformation, as I call it. There's nothing better like getting out of your normal way of doing things, getting into a different environment that you normally don't spend time in because you suddenly feel on a holiday, you think differently. We all know it. You feel better. You're in a great place like Gold Coast, surfers paradise. I mean, come on, guys. How much more motivation do you need to just pack your bags and go? I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. We always combine pleasure and work together. So my family is going to be coming along with me. And it's just what we do. Because unless we get better, nothing gets better. So without further ado, give your business the edge. I'm just going to do a very shameless plug in there for global business camps with John Tsoulos. And any final words, John, for a business audience that wants to come along?
It's as you said, Bram, if you're serious about your business, you got to invest in your business. And one individual used to say, marketing is like a little wheelbarrow. If you don't pick it up and move it, it just stands there. That's the same as our business. If you don't pick it up and move it, it just stands there. So everyone should be coming along. Like I said, there's a money back guarantee, so there's no risk. Apart from someone investing some time, we're gonna give you money back. I don't believe we'll ever get caught because the event is so good and there's so many great ideas that, if you take one and implement it, you'll get awesome results.
Excellent. Well, I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to drop the link with the all the information, all the details that you need to see below. So without further ado, I highly encourage you to sign up for this event. And John and I and all the other keynote speakers, we look forward to seeing you in February in Gold Coast, sunny Gold Coast, mind you. And if you like surfing like me, make sure that you got a surfboard packed away or at least some time allocated for it, because that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. Anyway, thanks to everyone for joining. Wish you a great day and all the best. Thank you, John, for joining.
Thank you so much, Bram. I truly appreciate it. You're a gentleman. Thank you.